It's been 2 years since I made a tutorial on how I create my videos, and some of you still ask. But I have changed some ways on how I do make my videos, so here we go again. Many people wonder what animators on YouTube use to make their content, and usually find out they use fancy drawing tablets with their expensive animating softwares that's so fancy, but we don't, money doesn't, okay, there's no joke here guys, it's freaking expensive. And there's no money in here anyway. So today, I'm going to show you how to animate on an iPad. So let's just get right into what you guys asked for. Timestamps in the description. Let's go! So the first app I use to edit my animations on iPad is iMovie. It comes with newer Apple models and I use it to add sound, effects, audio, add clips, and edit parts of my animation to make it the best it could be. The next app I use is VideoStar, which is used after I edit the video in iMovie. You can put little pictures, effects, and zoom-ins to make the animation look more fun. It's free and comes with a lot of different simple effects in store, but has some in-app purchases for some other cool and complex effects if you want them. Only around $1 to $3 each. And the effects are set up in packs/bundles that come with multiple different effects that are cool to spice up your video. This sounds like I'm being sponsored. I'm not being sponsored, guys, I swear. Now let's get into the actual animation. What I used to use was Animation Create HD, as I said in my old tutorial video. But over time, there are many things about the app which I started not liking. One which is not hearing the audio while animating, which slowed down my process so much. So I switched to the app Rough Animator. It lets you animate while hearing the audio and has many other aspects that help you make a great animation. And here's a tutorial on how to use it. Hey guys, so this is the tutorial portion of my how to animate on iPad video. So I have an iPad 5th generation and I have Rough Animator. I open it, this is what pops up. The projects on your left, the ones you've already done / you're working on. So you create a new project at the bottom right, and you can edit the frame rate and the resolution and the title. That's gonna be our title. Let's click OK. So this is the new project. Here's the timeline. There's one layer and a background, so we're gonna name it body. Whenever a color of a square turns darker, that indicates that you're on that frame and on that layer. Where the green square is where you can usually import audio, and that's where the audio visual will show up, but we don't need that for the tutorial, but more on that later. So you can use 2 fingers to move around the canvas, and we're already on the paintbrush tool, so let's list these paintbrush tool options. So we got the color, you can save colors over here. We got the pinpoint for colors, like the pin to like get the colors. I forgot what it was called. We have the brush size, which I usually do around 20, it depends. We got the opacity, we got the spacing, let's just leave it at 1, and smoothing, which I keep at 2, sometimes 3, I don't know. And we have the option to draw in front of a drawing, behind a drawing, or inside of a drawing. And we got the onion skin options down here. Also, there's different brush shapes you can use. Eraser basically has the same options. So yeah, let's draw a character. Ta-da! If you want to undo a part of your drawing, you can press this arrow on the bottom left to undo. And if you change your mind, you can redo. But we're gonna undo for now. Now you can fill in any part of the character you want, but make sure your fill expand is high and your tolerance is high, because if it's not, it's gonna look weird, trust me. So we got this preset for hair. Yes. Then we can always add a new frame down here, but we're gonna make this easy on us by clicking add drawing. So let's go back. So by clicking on add drawing, there are many options, but let's pick duplicate after, which makes a copy of the drawing you just did. So the goal is to move our characters from one position to another. So by clicking the selection tool, let's select our character, where we can adjust its position by moving it around by rotation and scale. And you can do a more precise version of that on the tool options. You can slide and press with the tool options. You can also flip them if you want. So since we're trying to making him like stand up a bit, we're gonna tilt him bit, we're gonna use this tilt tool, and then we're gonna move him up a little bit. Very subtle difference, if you could tell. Now we will draw our character in the next main position by clicking Add Drawing, and let's draw him in his new position. So I've drew me in my new position. So now let's duplicate his new position by going to Add Drawing and duplicating it. So let's go back to the first drawing of this new position with the arrows on the bottom left where you can go forward and backward and on the animation, or by sliding this green square back and forth or across this whole thing. So for this frame, we're trying to make it look like he moved from here to here. So let's just move him, let's tilt him a bit, move him forward, down, kind of retrieving from this position. So now I tilted him a bit more and now it looks like that. So now you see that it's a bit fast, and you may like how that looks and how it's very smooth. But for me, I go to the drawing duration in the upper left corner, where you can make a certain frame as long as you want. So we're making every frame that is mid-movement 2 frames instead of 1. So we'll make it 2 frames, 2 frames. And maybe we can just extend these for a long period of time. So now it looks like this. So now we got this average position movement of a character. So let's go to the top where there are a lot of options. So to delete a drawing that I don't want, you can click here. So it's gonna get rid of that. See how it's skipping it, but let's undo that. There's these 2 buttons that swap frames left and right, so we can change where they are in the timeline, if you see what I mean. There's also an option to edit all frames at once, so you select Edit Multiple, drag this selection box to where you want it, and it'll show all frames at once. And then you can add to it, and maybe if you want to like move it around, you can. And then you press edit multiple, it's gonna apply those changes, but we don't want that. Undo. So we're back to where we started. You can also label certain frames of the animation if you want to keep track. Like you can name this one resting. You can name these resting because you know they're just like chilling at these parts, and these are just movements parts. But I don't really do this. So that's all for that. But if you want to make the character position movement even more fancy, let's try this. So you can always add smear frames in the middle of the two movement positions. And you do that by adding after the first position movement and before that, the last position movement. And you can make a smear frame. So now we drew the smear frame and it looks like this. So now let's try some lip sync. So there's usually audio you can import to animate lip syncing over, and you can import it by tapping the menu box and it shows importing audio, as well as some other options, but for this video we won't do that. So go to modify layer and you'll have different options, which are adding layers, duplicating layers, adding layers with the same timing as previous layers, and moving a selected drawing to a new layer. We will add a new empty layer. Let's call it lip sync. So let's just say something generic that I can animate pretty quickly. Something like, hey guys, wow.
So like I said earlier, if you did import an audio file, you'd usually hear the audio when you draw each mouth frame.
So you know what mouth position to draw as it corresponds with the audio.
But as I already said earlier, we're not doing that for this tutorial, so...
And after lip sync, we got, hey guys, wow, hey guys, wow, hey guys, wow. And that's the end product. That's pretty good, honestly. Now here are some other things to mention. You can lower the opacity of a certain layer by sliding this up like left to right. You can change order of these layers by dragging these up and down buttons. Now when you edit a frame, you have 3 options. So there's independent, sync layers, and maintain overall. So independent looks like this, where it just pushes everything. Sync layers will sync up the frame's timing as you edit it with the other layers. And maintain overall will just overwrite everything after it. I usually to always keep it at independent. Also in this menu icon, you can import audio images, videos, and do other things listed. So if you have a long animation, perhaps if you have a long audio and you are animating it, I recommend you splitting the audio files into different projects to around 1 to 2 minutes per project. For example, if you're trying to animate a video that's like 6 minutes, try to split the project and the project's audio into 3 2-minute projects or 4 1 minute and 30-second projects, and combine them in editing after. I know it kind of sucks and it's kind of complicated, but the reason why is that Rough Animator can't handle long projects, and it kind of gets glitchy and forces you to lower the resolution when it gets really long, so yeah. This may be different on other iPad models after the iPad 5th generation, which I have, but this is just from experience. But either way, when creating your animation and it starts hitting around that 1 minute mark, lower the resolution, which you can do in settings. And right now I have it in full, but you can always do it half or quarter. So it's just gonna make the resolution of other layers less quality and playback less quality, but it won't look like that when you finally export the project, so it's okay. But anyways, after you're done with your animation, go to the menu icon, click export video, and you can export it in different ways. Let's do it in the MOV video. You can name it whatever you want. Let's just keep it tutorial project, and it'll give you options to save it to wherever you want, / wherever it says it's available to save it to. For example, like files or camera roll. I usually do files. That's pretty much it. That was the tutorial, guys. Now it does cost only $5, but I'm very happy with my purchase and how my videos are turning out, including this one. Now I only have one tip. For the first 4 years of doing animation on this channel, I used my finger to animate because that's just how I learned animation on the iPad. But recently, I got a pretty nice pen point stylus, and I recommend you to get a stylus too. It doesn't have to be this fancy though, you can just get those regular rubber ones. Those will do good. Unless you have like an iPad Pro, then ooh, fancy stylus for you, Apple Pencil, ooh. So yeah, get a stylus and take care of it like it's your child. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Hope I educated you and I hope I entertained you at the same time. Yes. Thanks for all the fan art. I got a lot the past 2 months. Thank you all for that. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I got a Twitch. Follow me on Twitch and join my Discord server. All of that's in the description. Subscribe, like, comment, and yeah. Bye.